First, let's pay homage to the lineage gurus, homage to the Venerable Mang Liao Ming, homage to Master Sakya Tsung Kong, homage to His Holiness the 16th Karmapa, homage to Master Dubten Dorji, homage to the three jewels of the altar, homage to the main deity of Homa today, Siddhikarbha Bodhisattva, the savior of the native world, of the spirit world. 师母、丹真嘎祖 all the Dharma masters, Dharma educators, Dharma teachers, Dharma lecturers, Dharma assistants, directors of temples and chapters, and all disciples present here and over the internet, and our participating VIPs today are wife to Ambassador Dongzhou Liao, the Taipei rep to Sweden and Norway, Dharma Sister Judy, accountant to Jupiter Foundation, Dharma Sister Teresa and her husband, and the CEO of DB Boye, the attorney Jennifer Zhou, Dr. Ryan Zhuang and his wife, and the four great beauties from California, and the owner of the Shanghai House Restaurant, Miss Liu Yihong, Dharma Sister. Good afternoon, everyone. How do you do? First, I would like to announce for next Sunday, on December 22nd, Sunday, at 3 p.m., there will be Atisha Homa fire offering ceremony. The Venerable Atisha was from the latter Dharma Propagation era. He is the most important figure during the latter propagation era. And for the early Dharma propagation era, the most important or prominent figure was Guru Padmasambhava. And for the latter era, it was the Venerable Atisha. He is a lineage guru. He was. And there was a sect called Kadampa. So his mantra Om Beja Adisha Kadang Soha. That's his mantra, Om Beja Adisha Kadam Soha. And the mudra is the mudra of turning the Dharma wheel. Typically, it's like this, with two hands. So, when Grandmaster gave a Dharma transmission in Indonesia, that was for Guru or Venerable Atisha. It was a grand ceremony attended by over 30,000 people. It was transmitted in Indonesia. The Venerable Atisha, this lineage guru, had great merits. Guru Padmasambhava was the lineage guru for the early Dharma Propagation era, and the Venerable Atisha was the lineage guru for the latter Dharma Propagation era. He is highly knowledgeable and very eloquent in his debate. The customs in India is like this. If you win a debate, then you would have a parasol. So he would have one more parasol. And when Atisha went out, there would be a long line of parasol following him. So it showed that in terms of education, knowledge, eloquence, and sciences, he's truly prominent. Nobody could win over him. I heard in India, it's not heard, but it was the case in India. If you win a debate, the opponent should become your disciple, and the loser will give his temple and his followers to the winner. So like the leader, two leaders would get involved in a debate, and the loser would become the disciple of the winner, and the loser will give his spiritual centers and followers to the winner. And at that time, when Atisha was coming out, there would be a lot of clanging of the keys, because all those temples belong to Atisha. So if you don't want any wisdom for next week, you don't need to register yourself. If you don't want any wisdom, you don't want to register to be the primary supplicant. But if you want the wisdom of the Tathagata, then you should register yourself to become primary supplicant for Atisha. So, which means if you just want to be a bumpkin, then you don't have to register as a primary supplicant. But everyone that registered themselves to be primary supplicants would be extremely intelligent. So that's for next Sunday. And today let's talk a little more about Siddhigarbha Bodhisattva. As I said, the policeman who killed himself, I talked about it last night. As I got off the group practice last night, Simu got a text that there was a policeman from Pingtung in Taiwan who hanged himself. So it happened 10 days ago. And it's also about 10 days since I've been hearing the clanking of the leather shoes. I heard it every night. Dharma Sister Lucy from Seattle went back to Taiwan And immediately line to Simu, send a text message through line to Simu. And send the news there, and it was a policeman from Pingdong killed himself by hanging himself. So every time when I was meditating, it would be very loud. And last night, sure enough, we knew the rest of the people shot themselves, but that policeman hanged himself. That's what I saw, and it turned out it was true. The sound that I heard, it's like the very heavy shoes of a man, which the kind of shoes belonging to the policemen and soldiers. So when I got home last night, when it was about 1:30 a.m., I was in union with Golden Mother. And during the merging, the sound of the shoes happened again. And before I turned my head and I saw someone hanging himself. And this time I turned my head and chanted 3 mantras. So I chanted the deliverance or rebirth mantra. And then I chanted Om Abelahom Kanchala Soha. That's Manjushri's deliverance mantra. And then I chanted Sasamaha, the mantra of the Vajra 6 paths. And then I performed a Dharma ritual, and he became very pleased. And by using the mudra of the marvelous body Tathagata to bless him, and then he became a completely formed, a policeman with a complete form. And before that, he looked really horrible. When I turned my head before, the ropes and hang on his neck, and he was swinging, and there were bloods from his eyes, nose, ears, and mouth, and the tongue sticking out. So with blood from all the 7 orifices, it was really scary. But I've seen a lot of those, so I wasn't scared. You know why Grandmaster is not scared? Because I have touched them quite a lot too, not just seen them. Because Grandmaster was a feng shui master. I have moved human bones around. There's nothing to be scared of. I place the hip bones at the bottom and the ribcage above, and then the knee bones, and then the skull, and then I would place it inside an urn. And then you have to use the feng shui compass. There's a line at the center of the skull, and it has to match the needle of that feng shui compass. If it's not correct, then you have to readjust it and then cover it, and then you place a mark. And then when you bury it underground, the line was the primary point and to place the direction of it. One time, I checked the tombs of a family clan. So everybody was buried at the same place. And there was a door, and inside they're all bones. And Grandmaster got inside and ran around and then placed all the bones in order, 7 to 8 of their ancestors. It's very dark inside. The tomb is high, and there's a small door, and then you place. So I did get in. So if someone locked the door, I would have been staying inside. They're all arranged. So I'm not afraid of these things like skulls and skeletons. People have goosebumps when I was talking about it last night, but for Grandmaster, I've seen a lot of it. When he stick his tongue, I would pull his tongue. So we can cook this and make soup of it. So the ghosts are afraid of me, not I'm afraid of the ghost. So I took care of it yesterday, and today I also said for the Bardo deliverance. So that policeman from Pingtung, Taiwan, I have requested Siddhigarbha Bodhisattva to guide him to be reborn into the Buddha land. When I recited that Amitabha deliverance mantra, did I say it right? But the first time it was upside down. It didn't go right. But this time it was right. You know, chanting on the stage, there is some pressure. But if I chant it privately, it's very relaxed. But here, with everybody paying attention, then it's natural to feel some pressure. And sometimes I would say it wrong. You know, I'm not afraid of anything. Why? How could I have some pressure? But so many eyes are staring at me. Even when I have all bag of skin, I'm shy sometimes. You ask me to perform. Sometimes it happens. So in my marriage dedication today, I was also mentioning my aunt, Huang Xiehua, and my uncle, Huang Bingse, because they knew that there would be Siddhigarbha Bodhisattva Homa today. Last night when I got on bed, my aunt and uncle came to see me. My aunt told me she called my nickname Katsu. It's a Japanese name for my Chinese sung, which means victory, victorious. So my Japanese name would be Ro Katsuhiko. Ro means Lu. Katsu means sung. And Hiko is yen. So she called me Katsu. And I took a look and it's my aunt. And she told me, my house is really small. And your uncle also came and lived in my house. And then your younger uncle also came and lived in my house. And other people that I don't know, friends and relatives, all came in my house. And my house is so small, I cannot house all of them. Can you please let us move into a bigger house? You're so incredible, right? She's passed away. My elder uncle has passed away. My younger uncle has passed away. Everybody has passed away. But my aunt was really close to me because when I was little, I was taken care of by her because I was abandoned. I was raised by my grandma. And she took care of me until she passed away. So she could not continue. So my mom had no other ways. She could not take me home. So she asked my aunt, which is my mom's younger sister, to take care of me. So this aunt took care of me, and it was a really hard life then. She was carrying me on her back to become a maid or servant at other people's house, washing clothes for other people. And then finally, she got married to a manager of the power company. So she got married, and then she told my mom, I cannot bring Katsu with me when I get married, right? So she returned me to my mom. So I grew up in an abusive family. My mother was good. My father has Japanese spirit, very violent. Although at the end, he also took refuge in Grandmaster, my mom and my dad. Finally, but I owe to my aunt, so I agreed to her request. I will give you a huge house, and I will bring you to the pure Buddha land of the West. Do you want to come? And she nodded. She agreed. As long as she has a bigger house, she's willing to. And I asked her, where are you actually? And she told me, she's a Christian. She was a Christian. My aunt was a Christian. And I don't know where she lived. All I knew is that there were several relatives and families squeezed and crowded in her small house. So today, this time, I brought my aunt and uncle to the Buddha land.
那时候他每一次出来骑
And
着摩
my
托车，他要
uncle,
去舞厅跳舞。
every time he would ride a motorcycle to go to the nightclub to dance.
舅舅跟我舅妈讲，
So
我要
my
去找
uncle
卡子，我要去
would
找卡子，
tell
然后他就
his wife
骑摩
that
托车
he's
到我
looking
家
for
把我
katsu.
载走，也把我载去舞厅。
So, and then
所
he
以我会跳
went
探
to
戈，
my
会跳
house
这个
and then took me to the
探戈，
nightclub. That's why
蹦
I knew
蹦
how to dance
蹦
tango.
大蹦蹦蹦蹦大蹦，这是探戈的。
That's
然
the
后呢，
rhythm for
就会
tango,
跳这
tango,
个吉鲁巴，
and also jive.
蹦恰蹦恰蹦恰，又会跳这个
And
恰恰
also
cha.
cha-cha.
恰恰恰恰恰恰恰恰恰，然后又会跳伦巴，蹦的啦
And
哒
Rumba.
恰蹦的啦哒恰恰蹦的啦哒恰恰蹦的啦哒恰恰。哎，那是伦巴，然后还有
That's
blues，
Rumba and
蹦
blues.
大蹦大蹦大，比较慢的慢的4拍，然
A
后
slower
又会
4
跳
beats.
华尔
And
兹，
also know how to dance waltz.
蹦恰恰蹦恰恰蹦恰恰蹦恰恰，都是我那个舅舅害的。
It was all because of
是不
that
是他
uncle.
成全的？他成全的，他成全的，
He was the one
把我
that
带去
caused
啊，
it
然后叫我坐在那里呀，
to allow
那
me
然
to
后讲
dance.
说，
He brought me there
你随便找一个小姐跳，
and then he told me just find a girl to
然
dance.
后我就那个舞女就叫我怎么跳，就在舞
And
厅
the
的一个角
dancing
落这样子
girl
慢慢
would
练到会
teach
跳舞
me
的。
in a corner of the
就是这样子。
nightclub, and
所
then
以是我
eventually
我舅舅，
I knew how to
他
dance.
成全了我，但
So
也是
it was
害
my
了我。
uncle.
然后
So
呢，
he got me into it, but he
现在呢，
also
他也找
hurt
我，
me.
我就把他送到西方极乐世界。
So now he came to find me, so I
这个是
sent
非常
him
真实的哦，
to also
我跟
to
你
the
讲的都
Pure
是
Land.
很真实的。
All this
昨天
is
晚
true
上，我
story.
阿姨也知道我们这里有地藏法会，我舅舅也知道。
So my
所以
aunt
他们
and
都
my
来。
uncle knew
可
that
见你
today
们
there
的
would be
亲友也
Siddhikarma
都知道，
Bodhisattva Homa
你们如果
ceremony.
没有报名
That's
的，
why they came.
辜负了他们的心。
So that showed that
下
your
次还有这个机
ancestors
会的
and
话，记得
relatives
一定
also
要报
knew.
名主起。
So if you didn't register them, then you have disappointed them.
地藏
So
王菩
please
萨很伟
remember
大，
to always register them
非
in the
常伟大的
future
一个地藏王，
should there be
他发
such
的愿望，
ceremonies.
地狱不空，誓不成佛。
Siddhikarma Bodhisattva has
地狱不
a
空，誓不成佛。
great vow
我讲过了，
that
嗯，
he would never
四个
become a
大
Buddha
妈有这
until
样子跟
hell
我
is
讲。
empty. And I've
阿
said
弥
this
陀佛
before.
是你父亲呢，
And the 4
瑶池
ladies from
金母
California
是你
said,
母亲呢，
Amitabha is your
地
dad,
藏王
your
菩萨是
father,
哥们儿，
Golden Mother is your mother, and Siddhikarma
空行
Bodhisattva
母
is
是
your
你的妻
brother,
子。
and the Dakinis are your wives.
哇，这4样真的好好。
So these
我
4
最
things
喜
are
欢
really,
的
really
就是
wonderful.
空行母是我的妻子。
And what I like best is that the
不
Dakinis,
过地藏
my
王菩萨真的
wives,
是跟我很，我都称他师兄，真的。
but
地藏王
Siddhikarma
菩萨师
Bodhisattva,
兄，
I call him as my
请
Dharma
你帮
brother.
帮忙，
Please help.
只要参加主起超度的，一定接引他们
Anyone registered
到往
for
生
the
佛国境。
supplicant, primary supplicant, and for Bardo deliverance, please for sure
大
guide
家
them
都是
to the pure
一样
Buddha land.
非常好。
So that would be wonderful for everybody.
这个是这个现在很多的叫做医美诊所啊，大家知道吗？医美诊所，医美
There are
就是美
many
容的，做美容的，很多皮肤
cosmetic
科的都转成美容医
clinic
师。
or cosmetic surgery.
然后它有医美诊所的，这里写着医美诊所的广告版。
So this is a marketing
女
board
人要懂得爱自己。
for
它的广
this
告是什么呢？
cosmetic surgery.
第一个，
Woman needs to
假
know
的
to
美
love
总比真的丑好。
themselves. A fake beauty is better than an
它的
authentic
广告是
ugliness.
假的美总比真的丑还好。
So fake
女人懂
beauty
得爱自己，
is better than
小
real
三就
ugliness.
会输给你。
If
医美
you
广
know
告，
how
医
to
美广
love
告的就是
yourself, then the mistresses would lose
钱
over you.
能够活化细胞，钞票能烫平你的皱纹。
The money can enliven your
等
cells,
你30
and
岁以后，
the money
就不叫保养，
can iron flat your
叫做
wrinkles.
维修。
After 30, it's not maintenance anymore, it would be repair.
有保养是老样子，
If you
没
maintain
有
it,
保养
it will
就
be
是
the
样
old
子老。
face. But without
老样
maintenance,
子
then
跟
you
样子
look
老，
old.
痛苦会过去，
The
美
suffering will
丽会
pass,
留下来。
but the beauty
那医美诊
stays.
所的广告，
That's the ad
脸型整得美， 老
for the
公
cosmetic
不
surgery.
出轨，
So if your face becomes beautiful,
常
then
来
your
变
husband
美
would
眉，
stay faithful.
再来变女神，不来
And
你
if
就
you
变
come
大神。
often, then you become like a hot girl.
大正婆，
And if you come very often, you become a goddess. And if you never
狐
come, then you
狸
become
不
an
能没有尾巴，
old woman.
美女不能
The
没有下
fox
巴。
cannot
这是医美的
be
广告。
without tails, but
其实讲
beautiful
的也是
lady
都是
cannot
蛮有
without
道理。
chin.
今天我们讲道果，这个是
So
更有道理。
those all make sense. But let's talk about Lamdre, which will make more sense.
加持相续不失，加
The
持相
second
续
is
不
the
失，
unfailing blessing
亦具
continuum,
四密咒记之自信，
endowed with the
实修记
self-nature of the four kinds of
既
secret
依殊
mantra
胜上师之耳传，
boundary.
行此法门而实修，为具实修记。第一
So
个
the
实
first
修
one，is the
你
boundary
实
of
修
real
的时候
practice.
就等于加持。
So when you do a real practice, it's the same as a blessing.
你根据师父本身传下来的仪轨，很周全的
So
修
you
一遍，
follow the
就
practice
等于加
procedure
持。
that's being transmitted to you by the
就是
lineage
等于在加
gurus,
持
and you
一样
practice it meticulously. That's the same
第二种，
as a blessing.
他说
You
实
must
修非常重要，
follow
所以
the
他
ear
排在第
transmission
一
of
位。
Supreme Guru and
我
apply
们
the
如
practice.
果实修一片法，
Second
或者你来
is
参
the
加附
occasion
魔，
of spiritual
刚刚我参
experience.
加附魔的时候啊，
Like
地
if
藏
you
王
do a
菩萨
Dharma practice, or like
下
you're
降
attending the Homa, like
啊，
just
在我
now,
身上，
Siddhigarba
在我的身
Bodhisattva
上，
descended upon my body.
那个就等于是地藏王菩萨给我加持，是一样的，一样的一个
So
道理。
that's the same as blessings
在
given
实
by
我们在
Siddhigarba
实修的时
Bodhisattva.
候，
So when we are engaged in a practice, we are receiving the blessing from the Buddhas and
就是
Bodhisattvas.
你根据你的接受，
So second
依实修法
is the
受
occasion
持，
of spiritual
随意
experience.
升起
Based
15
on
接受
upholding the
等
real practice,
为具
naturally
学
one
接
arises
受
to the
记。
15 spiritual experiences,
你有没有
etc.
感觉到呢？
This is called being
感觉
endowed
到
with the
你在
occasion of
实修
spiritual
的时候啊，
experiences.
佛菩萨给你
Do
加
you
持，
feel the
有
blessings of
没
the
有感
Buddhas
觉
and
到呢？它的
Bodhisattvas
法
when you
流
are
进到
engaging
你的
in a
身上，
practice?
是灌顶，也是
Do you
加持。
feel the Dharma flow fills your body?
所以
So
我
it
常
is
常讲，
both empowerment and
有时
blessing.
候人家讲说，哎，师尊会变脸。
That's why I often say,
什么叫变脸？
Grandmaster changes
好
his
像你合掌
face. Like when I join my palms,
啊，祈请现在祈请地藏王
and
菩萨
now I pray to
进
Siddhikarma
到我的
Bodhisattva
心身中，
to enter into my body.
一心敬礼地藏王菩萨，
Wholeheartedly I pay homage to
一心
Siddhikarma
敬礼
Bodhisattva.
地藏王菩萨，
Wholeheartedly I pay
还
homage
要
to
结地藏
Siddhikarma
王菩萨的手
Bodhisattva.
印。
And we should form the mudra of Siddhikarma Bodhisattva.
祈请地藏王菩萨从上面
We pray to
进
Siddhikarma
入我的
Bodhisattva
心中。
to enter into my heart from above.
这个叫做接受记，接受记。
That's called the
接受
occasion
记
of
的意思就是
spiritual
讲说，你在
experience.
实修当中
What it means is during your
有升起
practice, your
15
real
种接
practice,
受，是
you
具
would
接
come
受
to
记
experience
你会
15
接受
kinds
到
of spiritual experiences.
加持。
You would feel the
刚
blessings.
刚你们看世尊脸有没有变？
Did you see
有
Grandmaster's
但
face
是变
changing?
得很
Yes.
微，因为是
But
因为
it's
是
a
在表
slight
演秀。
change because that was
表
like a
演秀的时
show.
候哦，有时候佛菩萨，哎，
Because if it's just for
你请我
show,
我就去。
sometimes the
自
Buddhas and
然一点。
Bodhisattvas would feel,
好，在修法过
What?
程当中，我就自然来。
but if it's
然后你的
naturally
变脸就
during your
变得很那
practice,
个
then your
很特别不一样。
change
你现
would
在
be
是在
very
秀，
extraordinary.
然后我
But
又
that
不
was just
是
for show.
你说，哎，你叫我来进入你的身体，我是要很恭敬的心，这样子他才会来。
So we have to use a
你是
very
在
sincere,
就说不是
reverent
表演，
heart
我是
in
在
order for
秀，
them to come.
秀
But
的
if
时候他
you're
们不太
just
愿意来，
performing a show, then they
放个
don't
光照
really
你，
want to come.
让你
They
稍
just
微
shine light
脸变一下，这样。
just to change
刚刚就放一个
slightly.
光照我，那
Just
就是加
now,
持了。
he just shine light upon me.
如
That
果
was
地藏王菩
blessings
萨放一个
already.
光照你，那就是他在加持你。
So if
很
Siddhikarma
简单就可以知
Bodhisattva
道，
is
这
shining
个叫
light
做
to bless you,
接受记。
that's a blessing.
那
That's
像
called
今
the
天中
occasion
午
of
吃
spiritual
午餐的时
experience.
候啊，好多人排队，
Like during
我一坐
lunch,
下来，大家所有眼睛都瞪着我。
you know,
我说你
everybody
们看我
lining
做什
up,
么？
and as soon as I sat down, everybody
看
was staring at me, and I said,
我
Why are
是
you
要
all
供养
staring
的，
at me?
大家
I'm
都喜欢
about
看
to
我
make
供养，
offering, and everybody liked to
为什么？
stare at me doing offering.
因
Why?
为供养也不一样，供养有来接
Because
受，
during the offering,
我把
it's
那个
also
东西哦要挤到眉
distinguishable.
毛以上，眉毛以
I
上
have
供
to
养的时候，
raise the
你
offering
贡
items
品
to
不要放
above
在
my
底下，就
brows.
拿着，
Don't place the
那我现
offerings
在供养，
below.
不然你就结供养印。
Else, you should just
你
form
要
the
拿
offering
起来，你一定要
mudra.
拿到眉
If you
毛
want to
上面，
hold
这
it,
表示很
then
恭
you have
敬
to
的。
hold it
我
above your
把
brows,
我的食物
meaning
供养给
That's with high
这
respect
个时候啊，
to make
他
offering
会
of
来
my
接
food
受，
to the Buddhas and
一来
Bodhisattvas.
接受，
And
你也会
so
有
they
接
would
受。
accept them.
大家
And
都
when they
都想
accept
要
the
看，
offering,
可
you
能就
would
是要
feel
看
it.
我
You have
世
some
尊如世
sensation.
尊，
So everybody
提
was
到
staring
把
at
贡品
me.
拿到这个眉毛以上，
And Grandmaster
那
took
一定会有什么
the
动作，
offering items to above his
会有什么的
brows.
来到底是怎么样子接受供养。
There would be some
我
movements and
你们
how
记
did
得我
he
拿着那个
accept the
盘子的
offerings?
时候，
As you remember, when I hold
会
that
稍微
plate,
动一下，对不
I
对？
would move slightly, right?
那就是他们已经接受，
That means they have accepted the offering.
那就是他们已经接受。
That
然
meant
后
they
呢，
have accepted the
我在念
offerings.
第一句的时候，我很简单就知道了。
When I
第一个
chanted the
我
first
念3句，
statement, I usually
念3句
chanted
话，
3
我这
statements.
3句话不能教你们，
I cannot teach you though.
那是我的独门秘诀。
That's my secret and soul
这是我的
formula.
独门秘诀。我念3句话，
I
我念
chanted
第
these
一句，
3
他马上
statements.
来接受了。
When
不得了。
I only
这个
chanted the
态
first
度
one
极
and
棒，
they immediately accepted
100
it,
分，
that means the
他马
food
上就
is
受供。
100.
我念第
perfect.
2句，他来接受，
But if they accept it
是
after chanting the
中等
second
食物，
statement, that's just a
中
mediocre
等他们喜欢，
food that they
最喜
like.
欢念一句，他就来受供。
And
念第
if
2句来
it's
受
the
供
food
养，
they like most, then
今
they
天
would
是第
accept
2句
it
来受供养，就是
on
中
the
等
first
喜
statement.
欢。
Like today, they accepted it on the
如
second
果念
statement,
了
so
2
that's
句，
just
他都还
mediocre.
没有来受供养，念
But
第3句，
if they haven't accepted after
他来受供
chanting
养，
2
就
statements,
是下等食物，下等食
and
物
they only accept it after the
的
third
地
statement,
步。
then that's a low quality and dirty
这
food.
下等食物还是要吃啊，
But I
不吃
still
也
have
不
to
行
eat
啊。
it. I
有一次
cannot
他有一
not
次是
eat
下
it.
等食物啊，
One time
真
it
的
was a very low
在
quality
法
food
会上是
at the
有时
Rainbow
候
Temple.
中午吃午餐，他曾经表示
For
这是下等
lunch,
食物。
they
真的
indicated
师母那一天吃了也觉得说，
it
今
was
就
a
是
bad
下
quality
等食
food.
物。
And sure enough, when
但
Simu
是
ate,
我念了
Simu said
3
it was
句以
really
后，
bad.
然后念完3句以后再补念3句。
And
念完那
after
3
these
句
3
我也不要讲，
statements,
我
I
反正
would
这是我的
chant another
独
3
门绝
statements.
佛。
But I will not tell you. It's my secret.
如果通通没有来受供养，
However, if
一
they
直我
never
把6句
accept
全
the
部念完，
offering even
都还
after
没有来受
chanting
供养，
6 statements
那这个食物
or
就要小
6
心，
verses, then I really have to be careful about the food.
会让你啊，这个
It's
晚了
something
拉屎，
that can make
晚
you
了晚
have
了拉屎，
diarrhea.
表示说有这个大肠杆菌在里面，或者有什么不好的
So
东西
perhaps
在
it has
你不能吃的，
salmonella or other
就
germs,
是这样。
something that you cannot eat.
所以都是有感应的，都是有接受的，这
So
个是
they all have
供
some
养的接受。大
responses
家都在
or
看着
spiritual
我，哇，那么
experiences
多人眼睛看着
that's
我，就是
from my
看我
offerings,
拿这个样
and
子，
everybody's staring at
然
me
后
when I
这个
hold this like this.
可能你们也私下而已。你看来了来了来了，
Maybe you even say, "Oh, it's coming, coming."
这个叫做接受。加持祭，再来是加持
And
祭
the，third one
以
is the
结束
occasion of
令
blessings,
心气
the spiritual
急色
experiences
加
that
持上
allows
去，
the
为内
mind
空
chi to
性
gather
加
and
持。
attract the blessing
如此一
continuum
获得一切
as
外
the inner
空性的
Dakini's
加持，
blessing.
心
This
的
way,
定
one
不
also
生，
obtains the
故
blessings
己
of the
建
outer
立，
Dakinis.
外内一
So
虫不生，
new
八
ailments will
法
not
皆
occur,
作为小，
chronic illnesses
得拔
disappearing,
除其他
no more
众生之
inside
病苦
nor outside
及
germs,
魔爱
and the attachment to
等
the eight
加
Dharma
持
becoming
无量为
minuscule
神力，
can
此
uproot
谓
all
具加
illness
持。
and suffering,
有
as
了
well as
加持
demonic
呢，
obstructions, and it
就不
generates
一样，
boundless majestic power.
真的。
Once you
有
receive
了加持
blessings,
啊，
it would
你
be
的明点也会增长，
different.
你身上的明点会增长。
With blessings, you can
气也会
increase
增长，
your light drops inside your body. You
气
can
也能够，
increase your
然后
qi,
又会变干净，
and the qi
加
would
持
also
以后
become
你就变得更
purified.
清净
With blessings, you would become
啊，这个都是很真实
purer,
的，需要加
more
持。
purified.
所以上师的
So
加
you
持
do
很重
need
要，本
blessings.
尊的加持很
Blessings
重
by
要，
the root
护
guru,
法的加
blessings
持
by
也
yidam,
很重要，
blessings by protector. They are
三种
all
加
very
持都很重
important.
要。
These three
以
kinds of
接受
blessings are
令
very
心气
important.
即色加持相续，你知道已经有加持，
So you know
你的
through
心
the
气
spiritual sensation
心气
experience
你会增
that
长，
you have received
而且
blessings,
会
then
持
your
续。
mind qi will increase and
所
will
以有很多
continue.
弟子就好像说没有亲近
So
上
many
师啦，
disciples
没有
are
得
not
到上师的
close
加持啦，
to the
因
guru,
为你
don't
距离
receive blessings from the
太远，
guru
距离太远，
because
距离师尊
your
太远，
distance to
或者
the
你根本没
grandmaster
有
is
像
too
兄弟、
far.
像师尊的这一种
You
心力，
don't have that faith
没有
and
像本尊的那一种
connection
吸
to
引，
the guru.
也没有护
You
法的
don't
那一
have
种吸
that
力。
uh,
你如果住得远，而且
attraction
你懂
with
得
the
根本
yidam or
上
with
师
the
助你，
protector.
本尊给你加
However,
持
if you
不断，
physically are
护
far
法给
and
你
live in
不
a
断，
faraway places, but you
你
always
还是
be
保
mindful
持
of
着
your
这个
lineage
加
root
持，
guru sitting on top of you, your
你住得
yidam
再远，
always close to you, and the
啊，你
protector,
有修
then
法，
you still receive
你
their
切切
blessings.
认真的
Doesn't matter
切
how
实
far you
实地的
live,
实修，
but if you still
你会得到
practice
加持。
and you still engage in real practice, you will still
用来
receive
看
the
师尊也
blessings.
可以。
You don't have to see Grandmaster in
那你
person.
住在师尊的旁边，
And if
那
you
你
live
根本也
close
不
to
来，
Grandmaster but you don't
就
show
住
up
在邻居就好了，邻居啦，或者
or
这
in
个
the
灵上师的
neighborhood
周围，你根本就没有来，
but you don't
根
come,
本就没有来。对上师、对本尊、对你的护法
then
都失去的那一
then
种
you have
尽
lost
兴的那一种心，
that faith and
那
respect
个没有用，
toward the
那个
guru,
也是没有
yidam,
用，
and
等
protector,
于也
then
没
it's
有加持。
completely
所以
useless.
住得远
It's
不
the
一定
same
不好。
even if you are so
师
close.
尊也是常常跟你
It's the
在一
same
起。
as not getting any
住
blessings.
得近也不一
Even
定
if you
好。
live far away,
所以
if you're
讲
always together
有
with
一
them,
句话
then
讲
you
说，
still get the
你的
blessings.
上师像火一样，
So it's not necessarily good to
太
be
靠近
close
了，太
because your
接近
guru is
也
like
容易被
fire.
火烫伤。
If you're too close, it's easy
太
for you to
远
get
了，
burned.
你
If you're
就
too
得不到
far,
光，
then you
得
don't
不到光。
see the light, you don't get the light.
一句话，那密教里面一句
In
话，
Tantrayana,
上师
that's
像火一样，
the
太
saying.
接近了，
The guru
会被
is
烫
like
伤，
fire. If you're too
太远
close, you get burned. If you're
你
too
会
far,
失去加持力。
you would lose the blessings.
所以最主
You
要是
don't get
看你
the
的心，
blessings.
这并不是远近的问题，
So it's
你
not
的心
the
距离
physical
太远，
distance, but
你就
the
失去
your
万
heart
力
or
加
your
持力就
mind.
没有了。
If your heart or mind are far,
或者
then
你
you
跟
would
着别人
lose
跑了，
the
那个加持力根本
blessings,
就没有了，
the
那
power
观点力也没有，
from
通通都没有。
of the empowerment from the guru.
啊，这
Or
个
if you
道理是
follow
这样
other
的。
people, then you have lost it. You have lost the empowerment and
以接
blessings.
受令心气即色加持相续，
So the spiritual
接
experiences
受的时候，
allows the
你会
heart
越
or
来越
mind
喜
chi
欢
to
这种接
gather.
受，
So
越
once
来
you
越介入这个
experience
心
the
气，
spiritual
还有
experiences,
加
you
持
would like it
就会
even
延
more.
续。
Then you
为
would
内空
have
行加
more
持，如此亦
the
获
mind
得一
chi,
切
and
外
that will
空行的
continue.
加持。
And
什么
that's
叫
the
做内
inner
空行？就
Dakini's
是你的
blessing.
心
What is the inner
气
Dakini's blessing?
脉得到
That's
加
the
持，你的身体
mind,
得到
the
加持，
chi, the
是内
channels,
加
the
持。
body
外
have
面的
received
加外空
blessings.
行加
And
持，
the
空行品
outer
来加持，
Dakini's blessing is a
你的护
Dakini
法来加持你，
that gives you blessings, or a
你的上
protector
师
that
来加
gives
持，
you
这个
blessing,
叫
or
外
your guru
加
that
持，
gives you
外
blessings.
加
That's
持。
called the outer blessing.
这个让你的病不生，就比较不
So
容易
that
生
you
病。
have no
还
illnesses.
有
It's
身
not
体的
easy
疾
for you to
病
get
也
sick.
会渐渐的好。
And then the chronic
外内
illnesses
之
will
虫不生。
disappear.
这里面谈到的虫，有时候他
And
写
no
的
more
虫，其
inside,
实
no
是细菌。
outside germs.
其实是细菌，也就是毒啦，
So
也就
germs
是
or
毒啦。
bacteria
外
or
内外
toxins
毒内毒不生，
inside
外
or
毒内毒
outside.
不生，就是贪嗔痴也会越来越少，
And
贪
also
嗔
the
痴会
greed,
越来越
anger,
少。
and delusion will
八
decrease
法
over
持
time.
守为小，得
Attachment to the
拔除
eight
其他
Dharma
众生
becoming
之病
minuscule
及
and can
魔爱，
uproot
以
other
加
illnesses
持
and suffering,
无量威神力，此为
as well as
具加
demonic
持。
obstructions, etc.
这
It
就是
generates
第三
boundless
第
majestic
三
power. This is called being endowed with the occasion of blessings. This is point number 3.
这里讲的笑话是关于马云的。
And this
马
joke is
云
about
因
Ma
事
Yun or Jack
心里
Ma.
很烦，去见禅师。
One day, Ma
这个
Yun
禅师啊，
was
拿出了一个
upset
热水袋，
and went to see a
就
Zen
往里
master.
面倒热水，
And the Zen
倒
master
到
took
满的时
a
候啊，
hot
热水袋突然就
water
爆开了。
hot
马
water
云说
bag
哦，
and kept
我
pouring
知
hot
道
water
禅
into
师
it.
的意思，
And then
是
the
说
bag
这一次的
burst.
难关呢，
And
就
Jack
像
Ma
热
said,
水袋
"Oh,
一样的
I
不
guess
攻自破。
my obstacle this time it would be
还
like the
是
hot
说我不
water
应该
that
自
it
我
would
膨
break
胀？
by itself?
还是
Or does
说
it mean that I
生命的
shouldn't
热度
continue
只
to
有一
expand
瞬间？
myself? Or does it mean that the
这
heat
个
of
禅师
life
啊，
is only
他就
for a
摇摇
moment?"
头，
The Zen
我只
master
是让
shook
你
his
知
head
道，
and
这是
said,
我在
"I
你
just
的
want to let
淘
you
宝
know
网里
that
面
this
买
hot
的，
water bag was bought at your website, Taobao website."
表示他的货品不太好。
So so it
哎，
meant
淘宝
that
是他的吗？
his
马云的啊，
product not so good.
他的热禅师去
So
买
is
他的热水袋
Taobao
都不是很
belong
好
to
用，
Ma Yun? Yes.
这是最实际的问题啊，最实际的问题。我们今天谈灌顶跟加
So
持，都是
that's
最
a
实
very
际的问
pragmatic
题。
issue. Today we're talking
哎
about
真的都是最
meditation
实际的问题。你一定
and
要有结受
blessings.
出来，
So
你要有实修，
that's about
实修会
prac-
产生结受。
practical issues. You have to
所以有的
engage
人
in
不
real
修不修
practice,
法，
and with real
光
practice
来
you
听
would
法，
have
你不
spiritual
会有接受的。
experiences. So some people don't
不
practice,
可
they
能会
just
有接受，
listen
不
to
修法，
teachings,
不
then
可
it's
能会有接
impossible
受，
for you to have any spiritual
也不可能会有
experiences.
加持的，那个加持
If you
就断
don't
掉了。
practice, you don't get blessings and you don't have spiritual experiences. The blessings will break.
有一个公司啊，挂一个招牌，想做就立
A
刻去做，
company put a
就是
placard
好这
saying
个
that
公司
just
的
do whatever you
一
want to do.
个勉励的话，想
So
做
it's
就立
like an
刻去做，
encouragement statement
主要是
inside
要
the
鼓
company.
励职员的工作效率。
And they're putting that placard
不久
in
呢，
the
朋友问
wish
这个老
to
板效果如何？
encourage the
他答
workers.
出纳拿了
And
10万
then
元就溜走了。
the boss asks
会计主任跟我
the
的女秘
managers
书就私奔了。
the
几十
accountant
几
people
十
get
个职
money
员
and left,
全部要求
and
加薪，
then
想
one
做就要
manager
去做，
ran away,
应
eloped with my
该
secretary,
有
and
正
then
反两
there are
面，
many other
很多
people
事情都
asking
有
for a raise.
正的一面，也有反的一面，不一定
So
是按照
everything
你的
has its
想法。
positive
这样
and negative side. It doesn't always go according to your wish.
昨天走路时踩到钉子，
Yesterday, when I
到医院
was
打了破伤
walking,
风
I
的疫
stepped
苗。
on a nail and I went to the hospital
天
and
哪，
got
今天
a
又踩到钉子，
vaccination for tetanus.
回到医
And
院问
today I
医
stepped
生，
on the nail
我还
again.
需要打疫
And I
苗？
went back to the hospital and
医
asked,
生
should I
抬头看
get
了我，
another vaccination?
不
And the
用，
doctor looked at me and
你
said, no
去
need.
配一把眼镜吧。
Why don't you just get a pair of eyeglasses?
破伤风一般来讲就打一针可以一当动瓦固，
So to avoid
破伤
tetanus,
风打一针可以10
one
年了，
shot could last for 10 years,
医生讲的。
according to the doctor.
那我又
then I don't need to get a
我已经
shot,
打
a
过一次
tetanus shot. I got
大
it
概
once
是去年打的。
last year.
刚回到家上班，刚回到家就收到
I just got
老
off
婆的
work
line
at home and I got a text in my line from wife.
第一，洗
First,
衣服；
wash the
第二，
clothes.
做
Two,
饭；第三，
make dinner.
拖地板。
Three,
这个老
clean
公
the
就回
floor.
他，我选第二，
And the husband replied,
做饭。
I choose number
过一
two,
会儿，老
make
婆就
dinner.
再回来。
And the wife replied
这
again,
个亲爱的，
My
这不是
dear,
选择题，
it's not multiple
这
choice.
是排斥，
It's a sequence.
全部要做。
He has to do all of them.
其实当老公有时候也是很辛苦。
Sometimes, as a husband, it's a lot of hardship.
这是一个形容的笑话啊，你们不要会错意，会错意就惨了。
This is a descriptive
经
joke.
历了
Please
昨
don't
天晚
misunderstand
上
it.
1夜
misinterpret
多
it.
次，
Last
现在
night, I
身体实在
experienced
是
several
差很多。
times a night. And
第一
now,
次
my
身
physics
心
is
是蛮愉悦的，
a big difference. The first time I
尤
felt
其是
joy,
喷出的那一个刹那。
especially the moment that I
第二次开始觉得有点力不从心，
I
但还好。第三次
spit
渐
or
渐
emit.
感到
And the
浑身
second
无
time,
力，
it's
双腿发软。
almost I
5、
couldn't.
6次以后就不
And
行
then
了，
after the third or
连
fourth
走
time,
路都要
I
扶
felt
坐
really
标。
weak. And then the
现
sixth
在
or seventh
我想
times,
问
I
问各
could
位，
not even walk anymore.
拉肚
And
子
I
到
have
底要
to
吃什么药？
hold my back. So now I want to ask, what should I take for diarrhea?
这是拉肚子的笑话。不过你如果想歪掉了，
So that's a
没有
joke
最后
about
那一
having
句就
diarrhea.
想歪掉了。
Otherwise, you would think
所以我们
it
要看
wrongly.
最后一句。
So
法
that's
师尊在
why
说法的时候
we
也是
have
一
to
样
wait
的。
for the last statement. This is the same with listening to Grandmaster's Dharma teaching.
好啦，叫大家增加智慧了。下个礼拜
Now I
啊，
want you to increase
下
your
个礼拜
wisdom.
很重要。阿底
So
峡尊者
next week it's
增加
very
智
important.
慧。
The Venerable
有一个
Atisha to
记者啊，
increase
采
your
访一个
wisdom.
精神医院的院长，
A
你们
reporter
用什么方
was
法确定
interviewing
患者是不是完
the
全康复？
chief of psychiatry.
院
How
长
do
说，
you make
我
a
们给他一个
patient
测试，
completely cured? We will
我
test
们
them.
在一个浴缸里面装满了水，
We will
旁
fill
边呢
a
放
tub
一个
with
调羹
water,
跟一
and
个
then we
大
would
碗，
place a
让
spoon
他
and a
们
big
去
bowl,
选择如何把水
and to let them choose
给
how
它弄完，给它
to
排出去。
get rid of the
记
water.
者就讲，那当然是用大碗啦、
And the reporter said, Of
院长
course,
看了
with the
他一
big
眼，
bowl.
慢慢的说，
And
正
then
常
the
的人是
psychiatrist
拔
say,
掉浴缸的塞子。
a normal person would
所以
unplug
那个记
the
者也是有问题。这个就是没有智慧。
unplug the hole. So the reporter is also
下个
problematic.
礼
So
拜
that showed
你
that
们
he
要
does
增
not
加
have
智慧
wisdom.
的，就要筑起。
So next week, you have to become the primary supplicant if you want to increase your wisdom or you enhance your wisdom.